Nice to see you. Yeah, very good, very good. Just very good. Just calm down a little bit from all the storm that happened in Vienna. So, yeah. So getting back to the normal life.
What is a normal life for you? You already told me that you live in Chicago, right?
Yeah, yeah. I've been living in the US for the last 5 years, and I moved to Chicago. I was previously living in California for 3 years, and then I moved to Chicago. I basically came to the US for work, and I'm working here in the US. So my normal life is basically working out, having lunch, dinner, eating, and sleeping.
What are
That's
you
my life.
working? What's your job?
I work for the University of Santa Cruz, California, which is we are part of a lab, which is we are working on flood risk modeling, or in general anything that has to do with climate risk. And what we do is just using numerical models to simulate is tropical cyclones, hurricanes, tsunamis, and these sort of extreme events that can hit the coasts. And we provide data to the stakeholders in the coastline so that they can have a sense of the risk that they are facing to regarding current and future climate conditions.
That sounds very cool. I think they had a very huge rainfall in California lately, right?
Yeah, actually, this season has been the second one. They have the Nino season, so it's been very, very rainy, and yeah. So fortunately, I'm not there now. I'm
And you
currently in
guys
Chicago.
did you see that coming?
Sorry.
Did you see that coming? Did you warn them in California? Hey guys, a rainstorm is coming.
They know better than me when it counts. No, but I mean, this is the second year in a row we have the El Nino, and for example, it affects differently in different locations. So it was expected that it was going to be a rainy season, as well as we were expecting to have a mild, like warm winter in the Midwest of the U.S. as it is happening here in the Chicago. It hasn't snowed too much, and the weather has been really nice this winter. So it affects differently different parts of the US. So
I was in at the Chicago Major Elite Race as well. I was there and I was really surprised by the weather when we talk about the weather, because
yeah,
I expected it to be really chill and cold, but at that time it was pretty warm outside. Like no
yes.
issue at all running outside in short clothes and stuff. So it was really surprising
And
for me.
yeah, it has been like this all winter except one week where we had a wave of bad weather. And but besides this week, the one week in January, we had a really nice winter.
That's nice. So what is your back? You are originally from Spain, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm from Spain. I moved here 5 years ago, but I'm from Spain.
Do you miss the heat in Spain?
I missed a lot of things from Spain, not only the weather, but yeah. So far, my life is here. My wife is here. My wife is also from Spain, Elena, and we are planning to go back sometime, but not yet. So we are going to spend some more time here in the US, and then we're thinking about returning in the midterm, I would say. Yes,
What
we
else?
miss Spain.
What else do you miss in Spain or from Spain?
Of course, a family, friends, and food. I have to say, this is the three key elements.
So the
And
Spanish food is better than American food?
I have to say yes, 100% yes. I would say it's
Understand.
more natural. You can find real food better, easier, and cheaper than here. But well, it depends. We have a very healthy lifestyle, and we usually eat very well, so we don't have problems. But the sort of food that you find in Spain, more local things are different. In general, it happens in Europe. In Europe, it's you can eat way better than I would say than here.
Okay, so is the healthy food the key to your success in sports and Hyrox?
No, no, I don't think so. I'm not very like strict with my diet, honestly. I just I had periods in my life where I was very into the diet thing, and it didn't work very well. So what ended up working for me is just having a flexible mindset in terms of diet, training, and overall life. And diet is one piece that is very important. I know that this could be optimized much better than I am, but it requires a lot of mental stress. So for me, I'm just trying to eat as healthy as possible, but without, I will not say no for a dessert or like a burger or whatever, whatever I can be offered. So I'm not very, very strict.
Well, you're strict in your drinking game, right?
I know that was a joke, man. I hopefully my mom doesn't listen to this. I don't drink too much, and just water. We had a good night. We had fun. We had fun like the night of Vienna. We deserved it.
Yeah, I know. You had some mojitos, right?
Yeah.
So when you go out, is mojito your favorite drink?
I could say yes. It's very. I like sweet things. So I mean, I like local ciders in Asturias, in my hometown, but we don't have access to them in other places. So mojito is just a very well-known drink that I like. It's sweet, so I like it. Yeah. I think I don't drink mojitos very often, honestly. I think the last one I had been like a year ago. So
Well, you deserved it. On this evening, you deserved it because you were able to secure your spot for the World Championships, right?
Yeah, it was a dream. Such a good night. I was waiting for this race for since Stockholm, where I didn't perform as I would have liked, but I knew that Stockholm was not real because I had traveled one day before, and the jet lag hit me. I thought I felt good, but when the race started, which was 3 a.m. For me, my body was not there, so I was not racing at my 100% near close. So I knew that the results in Stockholm didn't represent my real fitness. I worked very hard the month and a half we had from Stockholm to Vienna, and I think it paid off in Vienna. I had a good race. I don't feel like I performed like anything special. Just did what I knew I had, and it worked. So it was enough to secure the World Championship spot. I don't know how the other, because at the end it depends how the other guys are. So you can be in your fittest way. If the other guys are better than you have nothing to do. So just pay attention to what I can control, which is my own training and my own fitness, and forget about the rest of the field. And it ended up working very well.
Did the issues with the rower, did this affect you in some way?
It didn't affect me as much as Sandy and Ronchevik, but the three of us were the only three guys who went all the way out and make the full loop to the end of the original rowers and came back. So when I entered the rower, I had 23 seconds gap with the fourth place. I was third in that moment. And when I sat in my rower, just a couple of seconds later, the fourth guy sat just next to me, and I lost these 23 seconds that I had. So I tried to complain a little bit. I didn't know what had happened with Sandy and Ronchevik. I knew what I saw when I went around, and I saw that our rowers were not available and they were not there. I said, okay, something is going on. And then I saw that the judges were pulling down the rowers from the age group for the following day. And my rower was pulled down just 1 second before I sat in the row. So they pulled it down, I sat in the row, and then next to me sat the fourth guy. But the fourth guy, instead of going all the way to the other side of the rowers, he went straight to the rower. So yes, I lost these 20 seconds more or less in that regard, which I claimed, and I think I will be given back these seconds. So I mean, it doesn't change the results, but for me, I mean, it's going down below 57 minutes. So it's but not important, but just something that I would like to be acknowledged.
Okay. So we didn't really get to talk with each other like before this interview, so I don't know a lot of things about you. What's your background in sports?
I've been doing sports since I was 5 years old. I started with alpine skiing and then karate. So I was doing martial arts until the age of 18 years old. Then I went to the university and I started running. When I went to the university, I started running with a university team. for a year, and then I met some people from the triathlon team, and I joined the triathlon team. So I was doing triathlon since 2011 until last year, basically. So I've been doing triathlon most of my life, and running and triathlon is basically my background. I started late, so I started swimming at the age of 21. But well, I just raced amateur. I mean, in the amateur field, I was never professional. I was a good amateur, but nothing outstanding.
So what is the difference in training for a triathlon and training for Hyrox, especially when we think about the training volume?
Training volume wise, if we talk about long distance triathlon, which is the branch of triathlon which I was focused when I stopped doing it, I was doing like short distance for 6 years. Then I moved into middle distance, half Ironmans for another 5 years. And in 2022, I did my first Ironman. So it took me 11 years to do my first Ironman after I started doing triathlon. When I was training for this full Ironman, a weekly number of hours were like 15 to 20 hours average, which is a very high volume compared to what we need for Hyrox. And this is one of the main things that made me change into another sport, because I didn't have time in my life to like balance work and sport in this level at this level. So I found Hyrox just randomly after coming from the Ironman World Championships in 2022. So I raced in October 2022 my last triathlon, and then I heard about Hyrox. I joined a group here in Chicago that were training for the Hyrox Chicago in February last year, and February last year was my first Hyrox. So I did open division, the US Open Championships in Chicago as my first Hyrox a couple of months after knowing about it.
And how many hours do you train for Hyrox?
I'm averaging now 12 hours per week. Yeah, 12 hours is like my average, which is it's not the highest volume of all the field, but it's not that it's good enough for me. It works very good in terms of balancing with my daily life.
Do you make double days, or do you have like one session per day and every day?
I try to do a couple of sessions, basically because most of my work I work remotely, and most of my work I'm seated in a chair for hours. So I need to break in some shape or form, and I use the training as a good way to disconnect from work. So I wake up, I do a session in the morning, I work all day, and then I do another session in the evening. This is how I usually do. So I usually do 2 sessions during the weekends, maybe one on Saturday, one on Sunday. I try to give more freedom to the Saturdays and Sundays afternoon and evening, so that I have time to do other things. But yeah, during the week I usually train twice a day.
Do you still do long runs?
Not really. I was not a very long run guy. So even when I was training for Ironman, I struggled with a lot of injuries, and my running was very limited. So I was not like putting a lot of volume in running before, and I'm not doing it now. I know what it works for me, and for I have a lot of, I mean, the endurance I've been working in. I've been building my endurance for 11 years. I don't feel like I need long run sessions. It's not the same for everybody. If you are new in the endurance sports, you need to build your endurance for longer time or a longer period. In my case, I'm now focused on quality than quantity. So I usually run 3-4 days per week, and at least 2 of the 3 or 4 are quality sessions, and nothing longer than 1 hour.
What does it mean, quality session?
Quality sessions, sorry. I usually do farlex or intervals like between.
Oh wait, say that again. Fartlek?
Farlek.
Oh yeah, because I am always battling with a friend of myself. I love to do fartlek running because it's just not so boring, you know. I like to implement staircases and builds and stuff. And he's always like making fun of me. I only call you fartlek slow because all you want to do is fartlek stuff. So, and what he is doing a lot, his name is Andrew, what he is doing a lot is threshold running. So we just bothering each other with like fartlek flow and threshold Andy. Just a fun story. I'm a huge fan of fartlek running. So I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry, keep going with your answer. Back to quality sessions.
Yeah, one is usually this sort of intervals. You can call it fartlek or however. I usually rest. Active rest. I do active rest. I never stop. I don't like to. I used to when I was previously when I started running at the beginning. Yeah, I did a lot of track sessions with fast intervals and stopping completely for some time, then restart again. In this case, now I'm trying to keep everything constant, and I think it helps your body to adapt to recycle the lactate that is produced during the hard parts of the session. So this recycling process is one of the things that are key for me in Hyrox. So when you run, you try to be efficient in recycling the residuals that you produce during the exercises. So one of the quality sessions is usually a fartlek. Another one is usually a compromise running. I go to the track once a week, and we do a mix of burpees, lunges, or other exercises without weights, just with my own weight, self-weighted, with a mix of laps, fast laps around the track. So it usually, for example, just to give you a very specific example, what we did last Friday, we did first a 20 minutes M-rep, 200 meters hard, 200 meters easy, and then a 20 minutes AMRAP, 400 meters run race pace, 50 meters burpees, 400 meters race pace, and another exercises like squats or something. So for 20 minutes. So these are usually the two key sessions I do during the week. And the other 2 days, they are usually recovery runs or easier stuff, but never longer than 1 hour. I don't usually go further than 1 hour.
So when we talk about being successful in sports and also like in Hyrox or whatever sports you did in your past, what does it mean for you to be successful? What does success in sports mean to you?
That's a good question. If you ask me if I feel that I was successful in triathlon, I feel like yes, I was very happy with what I was achieving. I had my goals. I accomplished my goals. Obviously, my goals and my expectations were lower than now they are with Hyrox. And whenever you fix a goal or an expectation, doesn't matter how big it is. If you achieve it, you have to feel like it's a success. So each of us can have their own limit or bar or goals to achieve. And I think that I feel successful in anything that I have been doing so far. So I mean, Hyrox is just still something that I'm learning and growing. So I don't feel like I have reached the limit.
So your expectations for Hyrox are now higher than your expectations for triathlon was. So what kind of expectations do you have for yourself for Hyrox? Like winning the world championships?
They have been changing over time, I have to say. So when I first started, I wanted my first race. I remember in open division, I said, okay, I want to break 1 hour in open and win the North American championships. That was a fair goal. Then I tried my first pro division race. My goal was just to finish happy and having the sense of where I could improve. And it didn't work so well because my first pro race, which was Houston in at the end of February last year, I spent 10 minutes in the sled pull and more than 8 minutes in the wall balls, for example. But I knew that besides these two stations, the rest of the Hyrox was pretty good for me. So I knew that I had to put a couple of things together and improve in these two specific skills if I wanted to be like more competitive. And then I went to my third Hyrox race, which was in New York, and my goal was to at least survive in the pool. So now the expectations are much higher. I know that after finishing second in the European Championships and qualifying for Worlds, I always have in mind like getting a top 5 spot in the World Championships, for example. But I still have to think that I'm new in this sport. There's a lot of guys with a lot of experience, very strong guys in the field who are also improving. So just focus on myself, as I said before. Do control the controllables and do my best to be my best fitness by June. And whatever happens, if I gave my best, if I trained properly, if I gave all out, I will be happy. But yes, of course, the in my mind, there's always something else.
When we talk about 10 minutes for your sled pull, and we think about this like failure, do you think failure is a part of being successful? And what was if you think so, what was your best failure and what did you learn from that?
So in Hyrox, I have to say, what happened to me in that sled pull was like the key component in my progression. So it made me change a lot of things and be conscious of how hard it was going to be in the elite in this sport. And since then, I took action and I started working on my pool skills. And definitely, if I had a good time in the pool, probably I wouldn't have paid so much attention. So I would say that this failure was definitely the start line for a successful rest of the year. Without Houston race, where I was one of the most humbling experience in my life, I wouldn't be here. 100%. 100%.
What did you change in your training? So in terms of pull, like you said, you've been working on your pull strength. How did you do that?
I worked the pool, basically working out pool. So I practiced doing a lot of sled pull, and I just progressively increased the weights I was putting on the sleds in the gym where I had access. And I think the sled pull at the end is an exercise that doesn't require like high end strength, but it requires like a minimum of grip strength, a minimum of overall strength, and then a lot of technique. So for me, the sled pull, the improvement in the sled pull was more about learning how to do it properly than gaining a lot of strength in my body. I was gaining strength because I came from an endurance sport. I weighted when I finished in Hawaii in October, my weight was 68 kilos, and then I put 10 kilos on me by June this last year. So that was also a big change. So the strength was progressively coming, but my pro tip for the sled pull is just practice. Do sled pull. Pay attention to the technique, where to put the rope, how to do this first pull, how to give tension to the rope. So there's a lot of things that can make it easier.
What is your next race? Will you participate in Washington?
I'm racing this weekend in Miami with my wife. So we are doing mixed doubles. First time we race together.
Cool.
It's very exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to doing it. And she's also very exciting. So we want to qualify for the World Championships in mixed doubles. And yeah, hopefully she's training very well. So she's in very good fitness. And we will have a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun, but at the same time, I know I'm gonna suffer.
Of course.
Yeah, it's gonna be my first mixed doubles race with her. So and she has been injured for most of the 2023 season, and she came back recently in Vienna. She raced her first Hyrox in 1 year, and now I think her fitness is ramping up. She has improved a lot, so we can do we can get a good time, I think.
That's very good to hear. I am looking forward to see the results.
Yeah.
And will you do the Washington major race?
Yeah. We fly then from Miami. We go to DC, and we race on Friday. So the elite race is on Friday. They changed the schedule, same as Vienna, which makes sense a little bit for me because if they want people to be around and spectate the race, they have to do it make it easier. For example, in Stockholm, they put the races early in the morning and nobody was there. We were only the 15 of us racing just with our family, and that's all. And I think the change to the Friday night races, I think it's a good decision.
Do you need the crowd to push you? Like, do you race better when there's a crowd cheering on you?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. I think everybody performs better when there's people who you care about supporting you. I think it's a factor that's very important. So when Elena, my wife, is always there, my parents are not physically present here, but from Spain, I know they are pushing. And what happened in Vienna is that Vienna was incredible for Alex, and you can see the hype of the crowd cheering for him. It was incredible. I knew when he was entering the rock zone because of I could hear the people just getting crazy. So it was incredible, and it happened not at that level, but it happened to me the same in Chicago, which is my hometown, and all my friends were here, so I felt like I was flying just because every single lap they were there cheering for me. So, and this is one of the beauties of Hyrox, that people can be very close to you all the race, and this is incredible. I hadn't experienced this in triathlon.
Oh, that's nice to hear. To be honest, that's cool that you didn't experience this in triathlon. Very cool. Last question before we end the interview. You already said you have another work call ahead. So, do you have a motto for life? What's your motto for life? Do you have any?
I have been changing it over time, and now my mantra for life is just do what makes you happy and don't set any limit on you. So just my mantra is no expectations, but no limits.
That's a very good one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I like to have hopes of doing things well, but not having to expect a result. So just if it comes, it will be perfect. If it doesn't, keep pushing. So I prefer not to set. I don't set limits to my performance.
Great one. Thank you very much. Do you have anything to say? Like, do you want to say goodbye for us? Do you want to say anything to the audience or something?
Yeah, so no, thank you so much. Thank you for the channel that you have been putting together, and it's an incredible resource for all the Hyrox community. And yeah, so nothing special. I will see you in the following races. Reach out to me in Instagram, if Pelayo Felichosa, if you want to get in touch, or send me an email or send me a message. I'm open to talk to anybody. So happy to be part of this community. I found that it's amazing.